Alright guys, last time we finished off Mega Man 2 with Jordan, and for Mega Man 3, I brought along someone you know well by this point.
Hello. It's good to see you guys again.
Yeah, Ken is finally back, even though he was actually supposed to originally be on for the entire game, but due to scheduling stuff, plans had to change.
Scheduling stuff, and also the first episode got really whacked up. Something happened, and
yeah, because we recorded the first two, I think, right?
First two. The first one went through fine, I think, and then the second one, I think I lost it. I think I was the one who lost it that time.
I think it was a combination of two things. I lost my audio for the first one, and you lost your audio for the second, so... Whoops. Either way, Mega Man 3. This time around, Dr. Wily's actually helping us. Apparently, he and Light are working on some giant peacekeeping robot, but they need some materials from 8 given planets, which are the levels in this game, even though they don't really look like alternate planets, so they can finish it. So we're here off in Hardman stage, which starting off, I love the song, first off. Mega Man 3, I think, had the best remixes of all Wily Wars. And, however, Mega Man isn't alone this time. We have our good old robotic dog, Rush, named after the band, I'm assuming, given all the musical references
oh boy,
that Mega Man has.
Okay, so what's the deal with this peacekeeping? Is this like, after the events of Mega Man 2, they want to bury the hatchet or something? Or is this just like, out of the blue, they want to create peace?
I forget the exact reason. You know what? I'm going to look up the Wikipedia article. Mind you, I forget if I mentioned it at this point. I think I did back in, like, part 1 with Wheat Bread. But... Mega Man Wily Wars has its own little plot where Dr. Wily invented a time machine to try and go back and fix his previous failures, which failed in its own right. So, that's weird. Let's see. Unspecified year in the 21st century. Mad scientist having blah, 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 blah.
Did you say wheat bread?
That's what she prefers to be called by on YouTube.
Ah, okay.
Dr. Wily claims to have reformed and begins to work with Dr. Light on the project to build a peacekeeping robot named Gamma. Robot masters in charge of a set of mining worlds, however, go berserk and make off with the Gamma's 8 power crystals. Mega Man's called into action to save the world, blah, blah, blah.
Oh. Wow.
Mega Man plots are not really important.
An E-Tank that early?
The thing is, I think almost every stage has an E-Tank very accessible, because Mega Man 3... While I think its stages aren't the easiest, it has some of the best E-Tank locations to farm. In fact, I remember for a fact, my first playthrough, well,
oh, hi,
I got like 9 because I game overed him. Oh my god, this is Breakman!
Excuse?
Plot's different in this game, Ken.
Okay.
He, for some reason, seems to be the one behind all the Robot Masters going berserk. However, as you can see, his pattern is very simple. He jumps and shoots. That's a kind of familiar strategy. Though, it's here that it becomes very obvious that, aside from Mega Man, all they really did was slightly upscale all the sprites, because if you know the backstory behind this guy, you know that he's about the exact same height as Mega Man, so that's sprite art dissonance there.
Work.
Yeah. I still think they were a bit lazy with Wily Wars in terms of most of the sprites. They upscaled, I think, Rush, Mega Man, and all the main characters, but a lot of the enemies didn't get much of the same treatment. Either way, time for Hardman, whose name, aside from being annoyingly phallic, is just funny. Hardman is not the best first Robot Master, actually, because he's very damaging, as you can see. But the thing is with him is that he's a very Pyrrhic boss. You can do more damage to him than he can to you if you know how to shoot right. His basic pattern is that he'll shoot his 2 fists, which will home in on you, by the way, and then will come back eventually as well, doing the same thing. Then he'll jump over you, try to land on you, in which case the screen shakes and will cause you to pause even when in mid-air. He can be a very damaging boss, but thankfully there's an E-Tank in this stage, so dying to him on your first shot shouldn't be that hard, or easy.
What?
I mean, he's an easy boss.
dying shouldn't be that easy. What? Okay, that's pretty...
My grammar's not good, you know this.
Oh, well, yeah. You're not a writer, you're a gamer. It's all good. You could be a game reviewer. You kind of are, though, aren't you?
To some extent. Admittedly, a lot of people probably will go for, like, Magnet Man or Snake Man first, but I find their levels or stages to be that much more annoying. Well, levels or stages. Their levels or patterns to be that much more annoying than Hardman's, to the point where it just doesn't matter to me. After beating Hardman, we get a fairly useful weapon, Hard Knuckle. The way this thing works is that you fire it forward and a fist slowly accelerates in speed towards the other edge of the screen. You can also aim it up and down by holding up or down, but I rarely ever use that functionality. Best weapon get theme, by the way. I mean, I love Mega Man 5 and 6's soundtrack, but this is my favorite weapon get theme. It's basically his theme song past a certain point as well.
So,
And now it's time for Top Man, who, as much as I think the soundtrack for Wily Wars is hit or miss with the remixes, this is the guaranteed immediate upgrade that I always think of, because this song just went from catchy to badass. I love this remix.
that reminds me, those things, I don't really know what to call them, those bolts, nuts and bolts, they remind me of Mario 3.
The things you can jump onto that move when you jump on them?
Yep.
I thought so.
Those things kind of give me nightmares, though, because I was never good at platforming. Still am not.
So I've kind of brought this up with all the previous co-commentators, but Ken, what exactly is your experience with Mega Man?
Well, I used to play quite a lot of Mega Man when I was little, and it was like Mega Man 6, Mega Man X6, Mega Man 7, Mega Man 8. I played a little bit of Mega Man 5, not a whole lot, but that's really it. And I never really finished any of them. So the only one that I've played extensively is Mega Man 06, 06.
06,
Zero.
oh, I wish.
02. So I don't really have the best experience with Mega Man that I can really recall.
No,
As
that's
much
the
as I
most
don't
out of
like
everyone
saying
I've
it.
had so far. Because Jordan basically has none, and Wheatbread, not a fan of the series, so... Like I said, mileage may vary with Mega Man, because it's very simple, but at the same time, it's very addictive to some people. The only reason I like it as much as I do is because it was the series that kind of started me off, thanks to X1. So, yeah, and oh, hi, Garfield.
Where's his lasagna? Are you shooting tiny lasagnas at him and that makes him go away? That's what
Yeah, they look
that's
more
what
like
I
lemons.
see. Oh.
And based on how Zelda reacted to the one time she touched a lemon with her tongue, not a fan of them.
Oh. Have you Okay, I need to ask you this. So Zelda's a cat, of course. So, do you have any cucumbers around?
Like I would do that to her.
Oh, dang it.
Plus, she doesn't react to most things that cats do. Even her reaction to catnip's a bit unusual, from what I've read. She just kind of goes, eh. Also, that section right there is surprisingly tricky. Those tops, while they are going up and down, they also spin you around on them. So you have to keep that in mind with your momentum. Either way, it's time for Top Man. He's weak to Hard Knuckle, so I recommend getting that out. And Top Man's pattern is very simple. He spawns 3 tops in a diagonal fashion, which then home in on you when he fires them. Then he dashes to the other side of the screen, invincibly like that. And then he repeats ad nauseum. Hard Knuckle takes him down really quickly.
Wow, 4 shots or 3 shots? I think that was 4 shots.
I think it's 4. Admittedly, the weaknesses in Mega Man 3 aren't as good as they were in Mega Man 2. Or 1 for that matter. Well, yeah, especially 1, because if you know the pause trick in Mega Man 1, you can kill them almost instantly. But they are, more cases than not, the best options to go with. Top Man's actually a pretty easy first stage and boss choice, though, because his pattern's very simple.
Are there any bosses that are weak to the straight-up Buster? Or else, if that was the case, you'd probably go for them first. Or was Hardman
Not necessarily,
weak to?
because more often than not, Hardman's only weak to it in the sense that he's Pyrrhic, because you can do more damage to him than he can to you with 1 shot.
That makes sense.
The only time I can recall a normal mode difficulty Robot Master being weak to the Mega Buster is Cutman.
Cutman in
1,
yeah.
because he outright had an allergic reaction to it to the point where he would be pushed back by it. Either way, next up is Shadow Man, a song I absolutely love and a stage that I don't really care about, because it's pretty uneventful. Either way, first off, hi again, Breakman. This is an even easier little encounter with him, because he doesn't even have a chance to jump up higher. You can just avoid him very easily like this. Either way, for beating Top Man, we got Top Spin, which can be a very lethal ability. What you do is that you can't use it on the ground. You can only use it when jumping. And Mega Man spins around like a little ballerina. And that does massive damage towards smaller enemies. However, if it's a large enemy that it doesn't kill in 1 shot, you're more than likely going to get touch damage. So it's not very worth using against anything aside that are bosses that are weak to it. And even then, Only one of them is really, really weak to it. It also had a massive ammo problem in the original to the point where if you press the button for longer than 1 frame, I think it was, the ammo consumption would accelerate to the point where you probably use over half the ammo in one shot. But that's fixed here.
Oh boy, bugs are terrible.
Mega Man's no stranger to them, admittedly. I think they actually fixed quite a few for Wily Wars, but I kind of prefer some of them because the pause glitch makes Mega Man 1 so much quicker.
I wish I played more Mega Man, but it's just not exactly my type of I feel like I like platformers, but Mega Man's kind of it's a certain type of platformer that doesn't suit me too well.
It's a run and gunner is the way I always look at it, and some people are more of a fans of run and guns than straight up platformers and vice versa. Because you're not going to see something like this in Mario at any time, obviously, unless you have the Fire Flower.
And
though there was Mega Mari.
Oh.
That was a strange thing.
One game I want to play is called Super Princess Peach. And I think you know why. Maybe.
PMS the game?
PMS the game in the Vibe Scepter.
Good.
Well,
one of my friends in high school had that, and even she described it as PMS the game, so...
Oh, no.
Good to see that analogy is accurate.
I mean, going from one emotion to the next quite intensively within the span of a few seconds.
Mind you, that happens to our gender as well, but nowhere near as ridiculously.
No.
Either way, next up is Shadow Man, who can be a kind of tricky boss, because he likes to jump a lot, and I think he can even slide a bit. But if you know how to use topspin correctly, he doesn't stand much of a chance, because he's absurdly weak to it. If you just go to try to use the Mega Buster, admittedly, it can be kind of a tricky boss, but nothing too bad. And for beating him, we get this game's version of the Metal Blades from 2. You can aim it in all directions. It's the Shadow Blade. In fact, this is even in Smash. It's basically a shuriken that goes in all 8 directions, except for... No, not all 8. I think it can only go in the directions from left to right, all above. I don't think it can go diagonally below you or below you in general, actually.
Rush Marine? Is that, you can use Rush and water?
Yes. You get Rush things similarly to the items in Mega Man 2 after beating certain stages. Rush Marine's only very, very rarely useful. Another thing about Shadow Blade, though, is that it goes only halfway across the screen. But then it returns, so it has the potential to hit the enemies twice.
Okay, I'm assuming that because Sparkman is electric, that this has something to do with with Mega Man's up smash in 4. Assumedly.
I'm trying to remember what his up smash is.
He takes like 2 metal things. He conducts some electricity, and then it's actually a pretty strong up smash attack.
I think that's Spark's shot. I forget. You know what? I'm gonna look that up on the Mega Man knowledge base.
I may not be too knowledgeable, but when I'm not knowledgeable, I like asking burning questions.
Mega Man Wiki has one of the weirder names out there. Mega Man knowledge base.
It sounds a lot more intelligent.
Yeah, I suppose.
And then there's Bulbapedia, which just sounds totally cute.
Admittedly, Mega Man 3 does have one of the stranger subtitles out there, because as I mentioned in Mega Man 2, after Mega Man 1, they all had subtitles. This is Mega Man 3 Dr. Wily no Saigo, which I believe approximately translates to the end of Dr. Wily, which,
well,
kind of foreshadows a couple things. But let's see, let me see if I can find his Smash thing. Admittedly, Sparkman's stage is a very simple one, but it has one of my favorite tracks in the game. The biggest thing you have to look out for are the spike ceilings, which, as usual, kill you in one shot, and these things, which, if I recall correctly, can crush you. So, watch out for that. Let's see. Oh, here's his Smash move list. Up tilt is the Mega Upper, as I thought. Up smash is Spark Shock.
Sweet. Oh, you died.
Ouch. I think that's my first death in this entire... No, it's not, because I died to, what's his name? A couple parts back. Admittedly, I would probably restart the stage for dying, or just because the way I usually record Mega Man stages is that each stage is its own little recording session. But with Mega Man 3, while I like the game, I just don't care that much to do that. Plus, it's Wily Wars, so it doesn't really matter. Admittedly, one thing I'm glad that the Wily Wars changed is the sound effect these little bolt guys make. Because in the NES version, it was obnoxious as all hell.
I kind of wish you'd put in a clip of that noise, or should we be thankful that you didn't?
Be thankful that I didn't. Either way, now it is time for Sparkman, who could potentially be a very tricky Robot Master, but his pattern is just that simple enough. He's weak to Shadow Blade, obviously, but the way Shadow Man works is that he jumps a lot, eventually shoots out a bit of a spread shot of shots, and then he'll shoot a giant shard shot at you. And I believe he also has another attack he can do, but it's not really noticeable. And I am stumbling all over my word syllables for some reason today.
I think I'm the cause of that. I'm usually the bad luck charm for a lot of different people.
Not really.
You sure about that?
I'm fairly certain. Bad luck charm is usually Jordan.
Oh, what did he do?
Nothing. Yet. And for beating Sparkman, we get the Spark Shot, which I think is probably the most useful ability. Doesn't mean I'll be using it much, but it can be.
Oh, I thought...
More or less, it's a more powerful Mega Buster. You shoot it forward directly.
I keep hearing you say Spark Shot, not Spark Shock.
I always call it the Spark Shock shot, actually, just because it's more or less what it is. Because it does shoot directly forward. And time for Gemini Man stage, which is possibly the strangest stage in the game from a concept design. We start off in a little glacier area, but it's got to get strange real soon. In fact, this is the only time I can really think that it'd be an alternate planet, as you'll see eventually.
That was the first thing I was actually thinking of, was because it looked like the moon. For some reason it reminded me of Final Fantasy IV. A lot.
It does kind of look like the generic crystal area that's been in everything since 2. I'm wondering how 15's going to bring that in, actually.
Return of the Crystals. I'm still looking for those pink tails that I've been searching for a few years.
You're still looking for those to get adamant armors for everyone?
Kind of.
Oh my god, Ken.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I haven't been playing 4 straight, like, for a while. I just got back to it recently, and I'm probably gonna restart the game, actually. But, you know, I don't think I'm gonna be searching for adamant armors, if I do an LP of the game, which I will, but it'll be a time before I do that.
When we get to that, I'm only getting 1, and it's going to Cecil.
I'm gonna probably give mine to Rydia.
Mind you, getting more could potentially be useful in my case, because I actually might do 4's post-game, because I'm tackling the PSP version for the channel, but... yeah. But yeah, what the hell are we walking in?
Now I'm getting Metroid feelings. Why am I getting Metroid feelings?
It actually reminds me more of this one particular game on the NES that I played that is, not Metroid, but what was the name of it? No, actually, no, it was a Genesis game, wasn't it? What was it? You played as... oh, that's what it is. It reminds me a bit of Vector Man for some reason. I don't know why, but it does.
Vector Man, okay.
Vector Man was more or less this kind of game on a Genesis. It's okay. It was regarded as good back in the time, if I recall, but it hasn't aged particularly well, especially graphically.
Vector Man, that makes me think of Sonic. So, like, or is that what it is?
Find the computer room.
Oh.
No, Vector Man is not the crocodile. He's a mass of orbs to show off what the Genesis could do.
Oh.
And hey, water. Water physics work the same as they did in Mega Man 2, but this is also one of the, like, 3 sections in the game you can take advantage of a Rush Marine.
Oh, wow.
You can jump out of water with it, too. Rush Marine's only useful here and in 1 to 2 other sections. And I'm assuming it's the entire reason it exists, so you can take advantage of sections like this. The thing you have to keep in mind about Rush Marine, though, is that its ammo is indeed limited, so you have to keep in mind that once your time starts running out, you better get out of the water, because otherwise you're falling into that bottomless pit. There's also a lot of E-takes in this stage.
One of my least favorite water levels has got to be Soda Lake from Super Mario World because of the secret exit.
Oh, wait, Soda Lake, the one with the torpedo Teds?
Yes.
Ugh, not a fan. Either way, it's time for Gemini Man, who can be a bit of a tricky boss because I don't exactly have his... No, wait, I don't have his weakness yet. He takes more damage from Spark Shot and Shadow Blade than he does other weapons, but his actual weakness is Snake Man's weapon. But I just decided to go a bit out of order for this because, you know, why not be different? Gemini Man is one of the few bosses that actually has two patterns, because when he gets to half health, he goes from just doing that thing where he jumps over you over and over again, firing at you occasionally, and switches to one person but firing his weapon, the Gemini laser, which bounces all over the screen and really slows down the game. However, that also leaves him open to a lot of attack. If I recall, Mega Man 3 was one of the first games to incorporate having two patterns into one boss, but it doesn't happen often enough to really be notable.
Well, I mean, I think it's a staple now for, instead of having a boss, have a single attack pattern.
Yeah, kind of. Because especially Mega Man 2's case, it's very noticeable. But I guess. Either way, for beating Gemini Man, we get that laser he was firing off earlier. Gemini laser. The way this thing works is that it bounces off the... If you fire it straight first, and then it splits off into two bouncing off on the walls. However, the thing is, it moves so slowly...
That it's useless?
And it is useless because of that, but there's also a second point to that. You can't change your weapon or fire anything when there's one out.
Okay, that is bad. That's very crippling handicap.
Yeah. But Gemini Laser is useful against one boss, Needle Man. And Needle Man is actually a bit of a chain that I'm going off on, because the thing is, Mega Man 3, similar to Mega Man 2, has bosses that are kind of weak to other things, yes, but there's kind of two weakness chains going on here, because Snake Man is weak to Needle Man, who is weak to Gemini Man, who is weak to Snake Man. However, the others have their own little chain going on of what's it called? Spark Man to Magnet Man to Hard Man to Top Man to Shadow Man to what's his name? Spark Man.
Yay for weapon pentagons and weapon triangles.
I don't understand why they did that. This is the only Mega Man game that did that outright, and I don't understand why.
Because they want to be because they want to be different. Innovations are good.
I guess it's admittedly a much more interesting way to develop robot weaknesses, because you have to think a bit more outside the box. But could have been handled better.
For some reason,
Needle Man's. Ooh, go ahead.
No, never mind.
No, you go ahead. I can. Mine can be hold off because it's about the stage in general.
Those I can never remember the names of those enemies, but they're super generic. The ones that have the green plus, the yellow enemies that have the yellow hat or something, that hide in the ground.
Well, they're not hiding in the ground. They're hiding underneath their helmets. Those are the. Their names actually have gone through a number of translations.
Maybe
Metools, Metals, Metars, Mets.
Okay, Mets is probably easier because I can think of the Mets. I think it's baseball team, yeah. But those things are super annoying to take down in Smash runs.
I forget they're in Smash Run. Mind you, I rarely ever play 3DS nowadays, so that's probably why. Now, Needle Man stage is the most generic in the game, honestly, in terms of layout, because it's very straightforward. There's nothing really in your way, so it's just kind of there. Admittedly, it isn't the worst first choice. In fact, Mega Man 3, I can say for a fact, doesn't have any kind of annoying stages like Mega Man 2 did with like Heat Man and such, or even Quick Man for that matter. But there is still one stage I recommend saving for last just because of the way that its gimmick works. Either way, time for Needle Man, so I recommend getting the Gemini laser out. And Needle Man's a pretty weird boss in that his attacks depend on where you are in relation to him. If you're farther away, he'll jump and fire a few needles at you and like that, but if you're close, he'll do that little close range attack where his needles on his head can pop out at you, which is the attack you want to happen because it keeps him closer to you at all times.
That needle hitbox, or that laser hitbox is super weird.
Yeah, especially when it's diagonal. The big thing about him is that there's a reason he's weak to, I'd say, Gemini laser, because first off, aside from Hard Man, I think he's the biggest out of all the Robot Masters. So him jumping around all over the place will actually give him a higher likelihood of getting hit by it, but this boss can be either really annoying or really easy depending on where he likes to jump. And for beating him, though, we get... I forget what it's called. Needle Cannon? Yeah. Which is more or less another Spark Shock. You fire it straight forward, and there's nothing else to it.
Rush Jet, yay. There must be an airman somewhere.
No, Rush Jet's actually a bit different than later games. The way Rush Jet works, obviously, is that you summon Rush down and you fly forward. However, it works differently in 3 than it would in all the other sequels. In all the sequels, it pushes you forward no matter what. In Mega Man 3, though, Rush follows every single one of your inputs to the T. More or less, he's no clip.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's not bad.
You can go up, down, backwards, left, right, all around.
Well...
It's really broken. There's a reason they changed it.
Hello
hi
again,
Breakman.
What is with you?
You know,
why are you so after us like this?
You know, you keep trying this. I don't think you know a better strategy.
I mean, his AI is faulty, probably?
I always did think that the AI was a bit rock stupid with Breakman because he's like this throughout the entire game. But I never understood why they just couldn't give him like a bigger shot or a different pattern. I guess because he's technically a mid-stage obstacle. You don't want like 2 boss fights in one stage.
I mean, because I don't know anything about this game, I would personally assume at this point that he's just toying around and that he'll be like super overpowered the next the last time you fight him, like maybe right before Dr. Wily. He would come out and then he'd be super hard and he would cripple you before fighting Wily. That's what I would assume at this point.
I guess he could be testing us, but... Mega Man's story is not the strong point of the series. I'd say the only, like I've stated before, I think the only Mega Man games that have a decent story are the RPGs, meaning Command Mission. Even then, that game's story is a bit,
Battle Network,
Star Force, and Zero. And by that extension, ZX. Even then, ZX has some stupid stuff in it. Oh no, not these things again.
Disappearing and appearing platforms.
These aren't the worst ones in the series by a long shot, but I'd like to have Rush Jet for this stage just so I can say, screw you, I can fly. The little vacuums there do suck you in, though, so be careful about that. That's what makes this section kind of annoying to me.
I'm good at video games, look at me.
Whoa! Even without wings, I can still fly! God damn, Sonic writers. Still probably the best thing to come out of the 15th anniversary, but that's not saying much.
Poor Sonic, he's just gotten his whole thing just bashed recent years.
Yeah.
Except for Smash, he's actually pretty good in Smash.
That is kind of the thing with Sonic versus Mario to this day, is that Mario stays safe while Sonic tries new things, and there's nothing wrong with either concept. It's just the fact that they each should be trying a bit more of the other. Either way, Magnet Man can be a very easy first choice because he only does 2 things. He'll jump around and suck you towards him with that barrier that you can't damage him through, or he'll fire his little magnet homing missiles at you.
Yay for electricity.
As you can see, Spark Shot takes him out really easily.
You have no idea how fun that sounded.
But for beating him, we do get one of the better weapons in the game, Magnet Missile. The way Magnet Missile works is that you fire it forward, and the moment there's an enemy above or below it, it'll go in that direction towards them.
Oh, so it's like a homing missile. I was expecting it would like suck them into a bottomless pit or something.
It does home in on the nearest enemy, admittedly, but you should be aiming for the one closest to you almost always anyway, so... Decent weapon. I don't use it too much just because in Mega Man games I try to stick with my Mega Buster almost always just because that's what I'm most comfortable with, but if you want to use it, it's pretty useful.
Whenever I've ever played any Mega Man game, I can't ever use the Mega Buster, so that's why whenever I played X6, I went with Falcon, so I could use the Z-Saber. So.
Falcon. You can use the Z-Saber in anything with 6. In X6, though.
It's
just the triangle button.
Not with... Oh, well, I didn't know that. I was a weird child. I didn't know these things.
We were almost every gamer, I think, was a weird kid at one point or another. But with that, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we're continuing on Mega Man 3.
See you guys then.